on an autumn afternoon. Leaves falling down as the wind blows, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. I'm ready to start over. My heart can't take no more. I sell myself, but don't know it. Letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. On a spiral mountain, moving to a place where I can see the truth of me. Gotta hold my breath and take that leap so I can be free, so I can be free. On the midnight highway, headed to the sunrise, riding with my head high. I'm taking it slow because I know I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. Looking to tomorrow, but staying in the day, surrendering my sorrow, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. On a spiral mountain, moving to a place where I can see the truth of me. Gotta hold my breath and take that leap so I can be free, so I can be free. On a midnight highway, headed to the sunrise, riding with my head high. I'm taking it slow because I know I'm ready to let go. Oh, 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 oh. I'm ready to go. Oh, 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 oh. I'm ready to go. Oh, 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 oh. On a spiral mountain, moving to a place where I can see the truth of me. Gotta hold my breath and take that leap so I can be free, so I can be free. On a midnight highway, headed to the sunrise, riding with my head high. I'm taking it slow because I know I'm ready to let. I'm taking it slow because I know. Taking it slow because I know I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. I'm taking it slow because I know I'm ready to let go. Good morning, Unity Church of Overland Park. If you'd like to stand and continue singing with us, we would love it. Join us for our first congregational I Release. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Stay standing. Sing us a couple more times. My body, my soul are part of a perfect whole. My heart and my hands are serving a sacred plan. I know that it's true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that it's true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. My thoughts and my mind belong to eternal time. My words and my song, you're writing them all along. I know that it's true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that it's true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes. I like that
Yes.
word.
This is a good word.
It's a good word. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity Church of Overland Park this morning. I'm Reverend Eileen Stulak. I'm the Associate Minister of Operations at this ministry, and our Senior Minister, Reverend Jackie Fernandez, is winding up what has been, I hope, a wonderful week of vacation away with her family. She'll be back in the offices this week and back with all of us right here next Sunday. And so, Jackie, I know you usually try to tune in, so if you're listening or you catch us later, we're loving you up this morning from afar, and we welcome you back very, very soon. And with me is...
Hi, I'm Reverend Jen Dickey. I'm delighted to be here. As always, this is such an amazing community. And I just want to thank so much this amazing team that we have up here. First of all, starting with Pancho Javier. My goodness, thank you so much. Reverend Fred Albert. Oops. See if I got cut. Can you hear me? Am I still going? Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me reintroduce the regal, the amazing Reverend Fred Albers. We've got Terry Swope, James Albright, Brian Stevers, and the amazing Stacy Storm, who is interpreting with us today. Thank you so much.
And of course, we have all of you. We have everybody that's with us online. And we want to begin, as we always do, with an opening prayer and some blessing of prayer requests. And I was guided this morning to go back one day to the daily word. It just touched me deeply yesterday as I spent some time in prayer. It was all about grace. And so this morning's opening prayer, I'm just going to do a bit of an adaptation of that message for us. And so as we begin, we do so by acknowledging God's presence, that one higher power that is within us, within everyone and everything else all around us. And one of the things I love about Spirit, it was when it comes to grace, I don't have to ask for it. It's not limited in amount, because it is a blessing that is always available. And so this morning we open our hearts to this free, ever-present gift of grace. It's with us when we stumble or fall or believe that we have failed. It's also with us as a light shining on the horizon, a glimmer of hope that reminds us that all is never completely lost. It's a gift that shows up for us in so many ways, as forgiveness, as healing, as prosperity. And it's also a gift for us to give to others. And we do that by being in service, by offering words or even silence that is kindness. It is through grace that we rise even when we are falling. It's with grace that we have hope even in times of loss. And it helps us to leave the past behind and start anew, knowing that we are wiser, we are stronger. And so today we invite this gift to bless us in whatever way our hearts most desire. And we willingly, openly, easily accept it for the blessing that it is, and we pass it on to all those that we meet. And grace is coming from that same source, that one presence and power ever alive and active in our lives. And so would you help me affirm that spiritual truth together by speaking that there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good.
I'd like to say that one of the greatest honors I think that we have is the ability to lift one another up in prayer, that there is such a sacred momentum that takes place in that, regardless whatever that may be, if that's something big that's happening or something small, that there is always a reason to hold one another and to hold ourselves in prayer. And so this morning I'd like to include Cindy Spear, who is one of our founders here at Unity Church of Overland Park, who's not here this morning, but she is having surgery later this week. And so we just want to fold her in for I'll just go ahead and take that into prayer. We just feel her spirit, feel her energy, feel her presence, knowing that the right and perfect doctors, the right and perfect people who are participating in her health are all working together, that the powers of the living God are alive, active, and available in her and in each and every person. And so we bless the gift that she is, and we see her fully restored and moving through the situation that's needing to be addressed. And we take that same love, that same space, that same energy, and we allow that to ripple out into the world for healing for those who need it, for safety and peace for those who need it, for comfort for those who need it, joy and prosperity. These are our principles in action. These are our birthrights. And so whatever the outer circumstances are presenting, we recognize the truth and where that is really anchored, and that is in God, that is in love, that is in sustainability, that is in health and wellness. And so we release this knowing that it multiplies, that it blesses each heart that is in need. Each soul that needs that divine touch, we say thank you, God, for your healing grace, for your abounding love. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
So let's all sing together. Blessed always.
Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
We said amen. Come on. We said amen. Amen.
I thought I guess everybody's standing, are they? Good morning.
We supposed to have a storm today?
I'm Barb Filer. This is Ellis McGee, and we're here to give you a few announcements. It's on. It says it's on. Is it on? Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you. First, registration is now open for the last Dismantling Racism class being offered this year by Reverend Eileen from July 26th through September 6th. This class focuses on the white person's role in becoming an ally and advocate for the Black community. It will also use the book Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man by Emmanuel Acheo as its guide to begin answering the question, as a white person, what can I do? The class is limited to a maximum of 8 people, and you can sign up at the table in the back or online.
And we have 2 group meetings this month that we'd like to share with you. First, our Yarn Blessings group will meet on Monday, July 17th at 6 p.m. right here in this building in the cafe just in the back. And second, our Folks with Faith group will meet here in the cafe on Saturday, July 22nd. Doors open at 10 a.m. The meeting takes place from 10:30 to noon. This month, I'm so excited to have the pleasure of offering a program I've entitled Our Divine Spiritual Identicalness. In our world of so much separation, this Folks with Faith gathering is about discovering our individual truth of divine identicalness. I want to especially invite anyone who would enjoy an immersive, thought-provoking, participatory look at earth science, childhood memories, and the Tao Te Ching. How together they provide a unique approach to spiritual freedom. Everyone is welcome. I hope to see all of you there.
Wow, Ellis, good for you. That sounds good. Like something I might want to be at, yeah. Now, concerning the new giving platform, we've been sharing that the UCOP app is now available, and we encourage everyone to download it to your devices and begin exploring all that it offers. We also shared that our giving platform has been moved to Subsplash, the app's host, and if you haven't already done so, we'd like to ask 3 things of you. First, please consider using the giving feature on the app for your financial donations. The more we utilize the app for giving, the less we will pay in giving fees. This means that more of your gift will go towards ministry programs and operations. Next, if you have recurring giving set up in Tithely, please close that account and create a new one on the app. We need to have those accounts closed prior to exporting our database to the Subsplash platform. And then lastly, please update your phones with our next text to give number. You can find the number in our weekly e-news or by contacting the office. Thank you very much for helping us make these transitions to the app.
And now please join with me as we say our joint vision statement with the Unity Movement. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Ran away from the sun, ran away from the rain, hid away from everyone, ran away from the pain. Now I'm so out of breath, now I'm so scared to death. I'm not running anymore, I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground, no more running around. Here I am. Oh, here I am. What's a life covered up? Day and night, not to fail. Like a life without love is its own kind of jail. What a waste to regret what I haven't tried yet. I'm not running anymore, I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground, no more running around. Here I am. Here I am. Throwing the game just to make sure that I never win. Kept counting myself out again and again. So nervous, running in circles till nobody knew where I'd been. Maybe today is the day that I let it all in. Maybe my secret hurts, no original sin. It's time, I made up my mind, I'm ready to dive in. I'm not running anymore, I'm not hiding
Am I making that noise?
Yes, you are.
I am. Okay. I had talents I didn't know I had. All right. Oh man, to hold a note that long, I'd be passed out like halfway through what he just did. Oh, that was great. And you may have noticed on the screen when that song first began that its title is Here I Am, Not Running. And when I started earlier this week to just move into my preparations for today's service, I saw on all of our planning documents that Reverend Fred had scheduled that song. And it struck me that maybe a better title for that song today would have been Here I Am, Not Running to Hear a Lesson About Discomfort. But here you are. And I do only have one lesson prepared, so let's get uncomfortable. Let's get uncomfortable. In fact, I hope that when we all leave here in maybe the next hour or two, that each of us is feeling at least a little uncomfortable. And I'm going to go as far as to say that the more uncomfortable you feel, the better. Now, you might be thinking, well, Eileen, that's not a very nice thing to say to us. That's not a really, nice hope to hold on our behalf. And I guess without some context, you would be right in saying that, but we're going to take a moment or two now to create some context for today. Today is the first Sunday of a new 5-Sunday series that we're calling With a Brave Heart. And if you saw the promotions in the e-news or the website, it said that this series is going to look at the ways that life, and all that you can fit into that little word, how life can challenge our comfort zones. So clearly, we are not hiding the fact that this series is going to touch on situations and circumstances, experiences, perhaps some beliefs or behavioral patterns or habits and more, all things that we have coming in and out of our life at one time or another that cause us to feel uncomfortable. And the reason that I hope that we achieve that goal, and let me be really clear right from the start, it is a goal I am holding for myself as well. I am in this with you. It's because discomfort does not have to carry a negative connotation. Very often, it is immediately associated only with things like anxiety or fear, upset, nervousness, and it doesn't have to be that way. See, any time that we are feeling ourselves being called, invited to step outside of our current comfort zone, we're just being invited to grow. We're just being invited to learn new things, perhaps learn things we didn't know that we didn't know, to expand and broaden our lives and our life experiences, which become our lived experiences. And believe it or not, one of the most impactful tools that's available in helping this process of learning and growing and unfolding take place is discomfort. The University of California at Berkeley published an article that put forth some very interesting results of research they had conducted on this topic of discomfort. And one of the first things it noted was that our desire for comfort actually holds us back from learning new things, from growing, experiencing whatever kind of growth we want in our lives. It said that if we really want to grow, if we really want to improve ourselves, if we really want to effect change in our lives in some way, we should actively be seeking out the discomfort that is inherent in growth instead of pushing the default button and resisting it. Because as a result, we can turn a potential negative into a very positive experience, which in turn is a very clear sign that we're on the right path for our lives and that everything that we're feeling on that process and on that path is absolutely normal. It was about 3 years ago now that I made the personal decision to invite discomfort to be my friend, to invite it into my life as an ally. And the irony of that decision is that I made it because I had become extremely uncomfortable with having been so very comfortable for basically my entire life. That's not to say I haven't had challenges, hurts, and pains and struggles, but the overarching view of my life was very comfortable. See, I was serving Unity in Traverse City, Michigan at the time. I was sitting there one day and I was looking around my town. I was looking around our state, out into the country, out into the world, and I was looking at so many challenges that were present in so many lives, realizing that none of them, or many of them, did not impact me as an individual. See, no one was trying to suppress my vote. I had absolutely no fear whatsoever to be out and about in public as a straight white woman. I had easy access to medical care. I had easy access to mental health care. I didn't have to constantly pick up my phone to call my sons and have that talk again about what to do if pulled over by a police officer. I was then, had always been, still am today, gainfully employed. I could pay my bills, and as that list continued to grow and grow and grow, I became more and more uncomfortable. And I didn't know immediately what to do with that, but at my core, I knew I had to do something. And it turned out that the first step for me, it could be a first step for you, was to embrace that discomfort, embrace all of the emotions that were so much uncomfortable as well that it was stirring up in me, and just allow it to start doing its work together in me. And as uncomfortable as that can be sometimes, author Brené Brown wrote a book called Daring Greatly, and the publisher included this statement on the book's jacket. It said, "We will find that nothing is as uncomfortable as standing on the outside looking in and wondering what it would be like if we had the courage to step into the arena." Today, kicking off this series, I'm inviting you to step into the arena that is yours. Bring your discomfort with you. Allow it to motivate you. Allow it to help you stay engaged. Allow it to be the barometer that will clearly indicate to you the progress that you are making in your personal growth, your spiritual unfoldment, as you make any changes in your life that you're guided to make. Now, if discomfort is the barometer, the tool that reflects back to us the changes that we make in our lives, might there be a complementary tool that can help us actually make the changes in the first place? And yes, there is. And while it, like discomfort, is often resisted, is often seen in a negative light, according to Brené Brown, it is actually our unsung superpower. And she believes that it is a superpower that is present within each and every one of us, and that power is vulnerability. See, truth be told, whenever discomfort arises in us, it's a good sign that we're feeling vulnerable in some way. And if we allow these two to come together and work together, some really wonderful things can start to happen. So let's set a little bit of a context for vulnerability, as we did for discomfort. Let's acknowledge right up front that it is not uncommon to resist it. Let's acknowledge that it is often associated with emotions like fear and shame and guilt and awkwardness and nervousness and disappointment, all these kinds of things that we don't really like to always discuss. And let's also open to the idea that it also has another side, perhaps more preferable at times, but a very healthy side to it. See, in her book, Ms. Brown approaches what I call the totality of vulnerability. And by that I mean she doesn't label it, it's good or it's bad. She does not call it a dark emotion, nor does she ever claim that it is always a light and very positive experience. What she does say is that vulnerability is the core of all feelings and emotions. File that away. Vulnerability is the core of all feelings and all emotions. And then she then goes on to offer and immediately debunk what she considers to be some myths that are often held about vulnerability. So the first myth is the belief that vulnerability is synonymous with weakness. So what that myth is telling us is that if we feel, we're weak. If we feel, we're weak. So what do? Well, we shut down, especially if we only associate vulnerability with the kind of the more darker challenges that I mentioned before, the emotions. We shut down. We stuff our feelings. We build walls around our hearts. We don't talk about our emotions, even when they are profoundly impacting how we are living our lives, how we are conducting ourselves in our careers, how we are relating with other people. I did this for years. I was a self-proclaimed expert at it. But eventually, I started to lose my grip, let go of my grip on the myth as I started to learn more about the truth of vulnerability. And if we go back to Brené Brown, then that if vulnerability is the core of all feelings and all emotions, then that means that it's the source for a whole bunch of emotions that we long for, that we want in our lives. Love, belonging, empathy, joy, accountability, authenticity. Brown says if we want clarity, greater clarity in our purpose, if we want deeper and more meaningful spiritual lives, there is one path. She says the path is vulnerability. So during this coming week, you're getting some homework right off the bat. During this coming week, I want you to take some time to complete this sentence. It's a very short sentence. Vulnerability is fill in the blank. And fill in as many blanks as comes to you as vulnerability is in your experience. And then consider some of the answers that Brené Brown received from participants in her research projects when she was doing her work around this topic. Some of the answers that she received from them were vulnerability is asking for help, saying no, offering an unpopular opinion, saying I love you first, laying off employees, signing my mother up for hospice care. Do any of those sound like weaknesses to you? No, and neither will yours. Because what Brown wants us to believe and what she teaches is that vulnerability sounds like truth and it feels like courage. The second myth is another one I practiced for years, thought I became pretty good at, and I did this one with some attitude because this myth says, I don't do vulnerability. I just don't do it. Now, Brown's response to that is, well, okay, now you get two options here. She says, one, you either do vulnerability, or two, vulnerability is going to do you. Now, her personal definition for vulnerability is that it is uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Okay, uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Those are things we just don't have the opportunity to opt out of because they are deeply woven into the tapestry of everyday life. Even someone who chooses to stay away from any kind of relationship, even if someone chooses to disconnect out of self-protection or preservation or whatever the reasons might be, they are still going to have vulnerability in their lives. Let's go back and grab some more answers that Brené Brown received to her vulnerability is fill in the blank question. Waiting for the biopsy results. Admitting I'm scared. Admitting I feel lonely. Having faith. All of those can be experienced in absolute seclusion. So it is just not possible to not do vulnerability. So if you find yourself still saying, well, I kind of still believe in that myth that I can't avoid this, then Brown suggests that you sit down and ask yourself and honestly answer 3 questions. What do I do when I feel emotionally exposed? How do I behave when I'm feeling uncertain and uncomfortable? How willing am I to take emotional risks? For a long time, my answers to those questions, being emotionally exposed, I felt scared, I felt ticked off, I felt less than, I felt weak. My behavior when I became uncertain or uncomfortable, scared again, and also controlling, overbearing, and perfecting. And how willing was I to take emotional risks? At work, none, if there was any chance that I would be criticized or judged. And in relationships, little to none. Now, some of those answers were not my own initially, because I had so disconnected from my heart. I had armor around myself. I couldn't even identify what I was feeling. But a couple of good friends got in, and they started to answer the questions for me. And it wasn't always easy to hear what they were saying, but to this day, I'm forever grateful that they chose to speak up. Because when we know our answers, even when they are uncomfortable, that's when we know we have a choice as to whether we want to continue living our lives that way. Is it aligning with who we really want to be? Or do I want to learn how to make different choices the next time vulnerability shows up? To grasp myth number 3, again, easy assignment. All you got to do, set aside 10 minutes and get onto some social media platforms. Get on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, what's some other, Instagram, Threads is a new one I saw last week or so, and just watch some short video clips that people post. And if you can find them from somebody that has some sense of celebrity around them, go there, because there's a treasure trove of these things. Because many of the posts that we find of these videos that are shared feed into this myth that says vulnerability is letting it all hang out. It's just letting it all hang out. That's what vulnerability is. And Brené Brown debunks that myth with one simple statement that I saw attributed to her in an article I was reading on Psychology Today. And it read, "Live tweeting your bikini wax is not vulnerability." That's the message for today, folks. God bless you. But really, right? See that sharing, that's more of what I would call a bold disclosure, right? And vulnerability is not so much about the amount of a disclosure as it is the quality of the disclosure, along with the intention behind the disclosure. Vulnerability is also much more of a mutual experience. It requires trust. It requires boundaries. It is not oversharing or purging or indiscriminate disclosures. Because millions of people like us, we watch those videos, right? And the people who posted them, they don't know me. They don't know you, right? But in contrast, vulnerability is sharing our feelings and our emotions only with people we know who have earned the right to hear them. It's a critical element in building trust between ourselves and others. And that's why we do it in baby steps. We don't bare our souls and tell every intimate detail of our life story with someone we're just meeting for the first time. And if anybody's doing that, you might want to say, well, maybe I should dial that back, because that would qualify as oversharing. But if you're not doing that and you're on the other end of the spectrum with me, who's much more of an undersharer than not, we need to think about, offering a little bit more. There were times people would ask me, how was your vacation? And I'd say, it's good. Next. There was nothing more that I was willing to offer. So that would be for me to learn to offer a little bit more. All right, so find where you are on the balance of that spectrum. And then the last myth I want to share is the one that says that we can go this alone. I can do this alone. You can do this alone. And something that usually brings laughter from the audience when Brene Brown opens her forums up for questions or comments and feedback and so forth is when someone will get up to the mic and they'll say, Ms. Brown, you did it. You convinced me to try to be vulnerable. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to try that with myself first, and we're going to see how that goes. And then based on how that goes, I'll try it with somebody else. Now, the laughter in part is understandable because that's kind of an absurd statement when you just sit with that, what I just said for a minute. But then she also points out that to the people that are laughing that they're doing so because they are seeing a reflection of themselves in that statement. And it's not hard to believe. I mean, was anyone here raised in a family system or find yourself in a work environment where it was actually frowned upon to ask for help? Where the expectation was, suck it up, do it on your own, don't expect support, don't even think of asking for help, because of that, what would that be? It would be a sign of weakness that we just left under myth number 1, right? To say nothing of the risk of asking, because my God, I might get rejected. My request might be denied. But no matter where we might find that kind of thinking, that kind of practice, it can't erase the fact that we as human beings are wired for connection. We may not like needing other people, but we need other people, especially when it comes to being vulnerable. We need people in our lives who will stand beside us as we're learning new things and stepping in a lot of things along the way in that process and making the changes in our lives that we're guided to make, and they do that without judgment. We need people that we can lean on. We need people whose hand we will see being extended to us when life does knock us down. I know for myself it is easier for me to be that person for someone else than it is for me to ask someone to be that person for me. And I've gotten much better with this over the years, and I also still recognize that there is room for growth for me to become more able to easily, without hesitancy, ask for help. And if anybody else is in that same space, I'll share something that I came upon about 6 or 7 years ago, also from Brene Brown, but a different book she wrote called The Gifts of Imperfection. Because in that book she said, until we can receive with an open heart, we are never really giving with an open heart. When we attach judgment to receiving help, we knowingly or unknowingly attach judgment to giving help. So knowing at my core that my truest desire is to give to others with an open heart, that helps me to hold on to that very same desire for myself when the time comes to ask for and receive from others. With a brave heart. That's how we're being invited to come to and receive and experience and practice and do all our own personal work, everything that this series will offer. With a brave heart, a loving heart. And I was trying to think about what that might mean specifically to today's offering, that of embracing our discomforts, embracing our vulnerabilities. And I found my answer, and it was the last sentence of the last article I had tagged to read before starting to write this lesson. So what I would ask you to do when you leave today and you begin to do your own work around today's offering of discomfort and vulnerability is this. This is what I want you to do. Love yourself enough to let people know who you really are. Love yourself enough to let other people know who you really, truly are. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Eileen. Let's take a few breaths, settle in.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am. Letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only
And so we pause now to bring our attention to our heart space, to relax more comfortably into our seats wherever we may be. And just take a few easy breaths in and release. And today we take time to consider our lives, who we are, who we'd like to be and become. And as always, we have choice. We can choose to give our time to ourselves, to the improvement of ourselves, whatever that may look like for each of us, while at the same time giving no time to being critical of others. We can choose to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of challenge to alter our course. We can make these choices and more in any moment that we intentionally connect with that greater power within us, the same greater power that's all around us. For that power is spirit, and it is always guiding us to see the best of ourselves. To not only see it, but to call it forth and to share it, express it to this world. And not in loud words, but rather great deeds that bring about what is best for all. And so we take some time now to just move into that sacred silence, to connect with that presence, to connect with our true selves. And we take time to see ourselves as one with this power and presence of love. And we do this in a time of silence. these times that we spend in prayer, the time in silence, they serve to strengthen our faith and remind us once again that this universe is on our side. It is always working in our favor and always impelling us forward for our continual spiritual growth and unfoldment. Times with Spirit remind us to always find, refine, and remain true to the best that is within us. And so for this time of prayer, this time of sacred connection with Spirit, we are grateful, and so it is.
When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love, there is only love, love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Thank you, Pancho. What a strong start to this sermon series. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Eileen. So now is the time in our service where we honor and bless our gifts and our tithes and our talents and our vulnerabilities as well. Each of us has made it here today. Believe it or not, that is vulnerability. You have showed up, so congratulations. You're well on your way. So I invite you to hold in your hand, in your heart, whatever gift you have to give today, be it financial, be it another form of contribution if you're watching online. We feel you, we sense you, and we just hold this collective energy together as we bless all of the gifts that come together to make this amazing ministry continue to thrive. And so I invite all of you to join me, please, in our offering statement. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am joy-filled and grateful. Amen.
Bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something on that'll never return. I think I finally learned. So bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star. everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I've survived many times before, broken hearts and slamming doors. I'll be alright, yes I will, once more, just as I did back then. I'm gonna rise again, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. So bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I know it's gonna be everything new.
Oh, thank you, Pancho. Thank you, Reverend Fred, the UCUP band, very, very much. We got breaking news. I usually come up here scripted with some closing announcements, but breaking news. This is from Reverend Jackie. She texted, "Indeed, deleting bikini wax video from my Insta now." So there you have it. The lesson was a success. So, oh my goodness. On that note, we honor our volunteer teams every Sunday, and in this month of July, we are honoring our Sunday counting team. This team is near and dear to my heart because finance is such a big part of my role here with my job, and I know that when the reports come to me or the bank statements and this, that, or the other, I know that all of the funds that those papers represent have been so blessed, not only by you as you send them forward, but by the counters themselves. They just don't dive into the offering bags and start throwing money around in the room. There are sacred prayers that they have scripted out for themselves, and they open in prayer and they close in prayer, and that's how that money is treated, and that's why it does the good that it does in this world. So if you're on the counting team, could you stand and we can just acknowledge you for all the sacred work that you do. There we go. Next Sunday, we are going to have a special meeting after the service, and while our leadership council is aware of it, we also want to reach out to all of our volunteer team leaders and any of you that are on our Sunday kind of support team here, and anybody else who wants to come, but we really want to target the leaders of the teams, because a representative from the Lenexa Police Department is going to come to give us about an hour and 15-minute presentation on things like, weather emergencies, evacuation procedures, if we needed to do that from our site here. He's also going to touch on active shooter issues and give us some tips on just how to, just be prepared from a place of awareness, if nothing more. And so that's going to start at 11:45. And so again, to the council members and to those of you that serve as volunteer team leaders and Sunday support team, please try to be here. And again, if you're not in one of those roles and you want to participate, that's fine too. Just come on back here into the sanctuary at 11:45. And other than that, please check the website, check the app, go to the our e-news, stay in touch, and stay up on all of the different events and activities of the ministry. Let's close with our mission statement, speaking this together. Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. We didn't have any children with us today, so let's just stand as you wish and offer our closing song.
stop the dream we're dreaming, but they can't stop us from believing. They will fill your head with doubt, but that won't stop us now. So let them say we can do it. Put up a roadblock, we'll just run right through it, 'cause we can do the impossible. We have the power in our hands, and we won't stop, 'cause we've got to make a difference in this life. With one voice, one heart, two hands, we can. They say the odds are stacked against us, but they can't hold us back. We will be relentless. There's a voice they're gonna hear, a voice so loud and clear. So let them say we can do it. Give us a mountain and we're gonna move it, 'cause we can do the impossible. We have the power in our hands, and we won't stop, 'cause we've got to make a difference in this life. With one voice, one heart, two hands, we can. We're gonna make a change today, because we've got the faith it takes to win this race. So let them say we can do it. Put up a roadblock and we're gonna ride through it, 'cause we can do the impossible. We have the power in our hands, and we won't stop, 'cause we've got to make a difference in this life. With one heart, two hands, I can do the impossible. I have the power in my hands, and I won't stop, 'cause I've got to make a difference in this life. With my one voice, one heart, two hands, we can. One more time, the band UCOP.
And let's join together now in offering our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Wonderful week, everyone.